what we're going to need for this project on magnetizing an mf9 is the mf9 itself. We'll need a little screwdriver, a box cutter if you have trouble taking the edges apart. You'll need some super glue, preferably with a small nozzle, so you can fit it inside the piece. As for the magnets, I have these 4x2 N52s. Preferable to have an N52 strength or something similar, because on something like this you want it to be stronger on the edges. I have 4x1s, I only have 4 left right now. Oh, sorry, we need 96, I think. Yes, 96 4x2s. We need 48 4x1s, and I got N35 strength, but you can pretty much get any strength you want with these. And for the outer edges, for in between layers 2 and 3, unfortunately there's a small gap in one of the pieces, so we're going to need, I only have 2 of these left. This is a 3x3 N35. It would be better off if you can get an N52 or N45 or whatever. That would be better, because the strength between 2 and 3 layers versus the next 2 layers is not nearly as strong as I would prefer. So I might add a 3x1 N35 or something, or something even stronger than N35 to this when I get it back open. Oh, and by the way, the first part of this tutorial is taking out the springs for doing spring compression. I put that first so I could do spring compression whenever I wanted to. I could do it during magnetization, even though I didn't, but if you prefer not to compress your springs, which you don't really need to do, I only compressed it about 0.5 millimeter, then you can skip that part and go right to the magnetization, and the part after the magnetization you can kind of ignore. Except for the these two I had to put in with the 3x3s. Of course I had that after my spring compression because I got those magnets later on. Okay, so what I've done so far is I've taken out 2 springs. So I took out these 2 here from the white and the blue center, and it's the same process as with the third or the first one. So I'm going to show you the third one. So I'm going to take out the red center. First we're going to pop off the center cap. So it's easiest, I think, just do with a screwdriver, get on one of the corners and pull it up. Place that to the side. And it's probably best off to just leave the center caps just to the side, just so you know which ones you've done already. And I'm going to just unscrew this whole screw off right now. Okay, so we're close to getting it off. And I want to angle it a bit so you don't lose that screw. You might have like a little bit of white flaky stuff on the spring, and it turns out that the washer came up. Sometimes the washer stays in, but if it does, just keep it with the screw. So I'm going to take the spring out, make sure I don't lose that washer. I'm going to put the washer right back on the screw. Oh! And don't do that, because I just wasted a half an hour putting that whole top back together. So very carefully insert the screw and also very carefully screw it back in place. If your screw doesn't seem to be screwing on, I find that just applying a little pressure, pushing down and screwing seems to do the job. If it doesn't, jiggle it around a little or take it out and insert it back in. Make sure you can push it down all the way it goes, and then try again. Alright, that's good. So then we're going to do that for the green, the yellow, and the orange, and we'll come back when that's done. Okay, now we have our 6 springs out, and we can start taking out the first edge to be magnetized. So the way I plan on doing this is my first time doing this, by the way, is I'm going to do one edge. Let's just take out one edge. I'm going to magnetize the first one, and then do like maybe the white one next, and making sure it's, you know, they all attract, the pieces all attract to each other. And then take out the second one, and I might put back in the first one. I'll decide later, but for all that, we're going to loosen up the blue-white sides a few turns, because I'm taking out the blue-white edge first, just to make it a little bit easier to get the pieces out. Okay, so I had a better idea when I thought about this. I'm going to tighten the white side back up. And we're going to have to, a little less than that, we're going to have to take out some of these these center pieces first. So what I want to do is take out this 3x7 block right here, along with the edges. So I guess to start, we want to first, this is the easiest part to come out. So we're going to put these to the side. Start taking the edges out from there. You actually might want to loosen the white side for this, just for a little bit, and then put back. Or just leave it like that, because we're not going to touch the cube anyway. Is this going to work for me? Might have to take, yeah, we'll take these corner ones out. They're kind of stopping this thing from coming out too easily. Alright, a little bit looser on the top. Just make sure the thing doesn't explode on you. So I would just hold on to the top while you somewhat gently, I could say, work this thing out. Okay, it looks like once you get this white side loose enough and this top loose enough, just hold on to the top things like this, I mean the top centers, and pull this up very gently so that the so you can see that, so that it comes just over. Oh, that wasn't very gently, but I had it the first time. You saw I had it the first time. But we can easily put that back, so that's okay. Okay, so I had a better idea of how I was going to start this. I'm still going to start with the blue and white edge. I'll just keep that over here for now. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to have to put that edge back, so I'm going to need another edge to continue with. So I'm going to take the blue-orange part out. So I'm going to take, just slide these middle ones out right here. I'm going to put those off to the right, right over here. And I'm going to continue taking out the edges and these 9 centerpieces here. So I'm not going to touch this. We'll be right back. And to get this one out is actually really simple. You can just slide this over like this to the white side you've already loosened, and do the same thing that you did with the other one. Hopefully better done this time. Yeah, twisted is a little better to get it out. Still not perfect, it seems, but yeah, there we go. and then we can just bring it back. And then we continue taking out these pieces here. Okay, so once we've taken all those pieces out, the cube should look something like this. I put the corner back in. I have all my edges, my center pieces over here. They should all be blue. And I have the orange blue edge here, and the blue white edges over here I'm going to take apart next. So let's just start one of the middle ones. If you've seen my 8x8 video, this was pretty easy. You would know that some of them are pretty hard to take apart by hand. That one's pretty easy though. It might have just been because the 8x8 was smaller. These are a bit longer, so they have a little more space to grab. So I'm doing these really no problem. But if you do have a problem gripping them and pulling them apart, you can always use a box cutter to slip in between the pieces, and that should come out easier then. Okay, so we're going to get all these. Alright, so here's one I think I'm having a problem with. Oh, nope, I got it. Never mind. And here's the last one. Okay, we got all of them, no problem. Okay, also one thing I forgot is that we do need the 3 pieces from the corner. We need at least 1 right now. Or I should say 2. So these don't come off so easily, so I'm going to use the box cutter to slip that metal in and push it out a little bit so I can get my fingernail in. And get that blue one out, and then we can get the white one out. And the orange. I'll just take them all out for now. Was it glued or something? Can't be right. No. Okay, it came off. We'll just keep this corner stock to the side, over here to the right, just out of the way. And okay. So it looks like I got the wrong magnet size because I did not measure this specific piece. I did not know they were going to push these ones in right here. If you can compare this one to this next one, which pretty much goes for all the rest of the pieces, these two are not like way up here for whatever reason, which makes this space less than 4 millimeters. And I guess I forgot to check that. I probably measured this one and it came out to just over 4 or something, and I just completely forgot that these open holes will take up more space, and you know, you're gonna have less space to put in the magnet, and the magnet does not fit in except if you put it like right in the middle of it like that, and it doesn't even fit straight in. Like it go like that, but you know, that's not really good enough. So for these two I'll have to get something like 3x3s, and from what I looked at they only have N35s for those, but I mean whatever I can fit in here, that's fine. So I'll probably end up getting 3x3s for this. I'll skip this for now. I'll just do it later. We're going to start with this corner piece and this last edge piece. So we're going to take a 4x1 right here, and we're going to slip it. Well, first, before we slip it, I happen to have a smaller nozzle than I did for the 8x8 magnetization, so I can put in my glue first. So I'm going to slip some glue in right there, just a little bit. And then I'm going to put the piece in so that the glue is just under it. Like that. And then I'm going to push that in as deep as I can, just so we know that I'm going to do that for every one of them. Alright, so it looks like it already is. And make sure there's no glue on this edge right here. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to approximate where I'm going to put this glue. So it's going to be at the top of that piece. So I'm going to drop a little bit of glue on the top and the middle. That was a lot, so let's get that out of the way. You don't want it touching that peg piece. I'm going to lean it, cut it this way. I'm going to drop the piece in, and we're going to carefully make it like that so that the pieces connect. And that should be actually fine. We don't have to do anything after that. However, I would like to wipe away some of that glue from the peg so that it doesn't become a problem, at least not too much of a problem. You really should only have to wipe away the part at the top sticking out, so we're going to put that right over here. And the next one we have is this one and this one. And before we do these two, we have to make sure that, okay, well, first of all, let's just slip a piece in, and we're going to see if it attracts these two. Okay, there we go, it's attracting now. So we're going to remember that the way it is right now is the way we got to keep it. So I'm going to carefully slide it out. Make sure I slide it out without, there we go. And I'm going to remember that the top side is going to go to the left. So I'm going to slip some glue in right now, probably at near the bottom, kind of like that, just a dab. And this top side's going to go in like that. That didn't exactly go over the glue, but alright. And next we're going to quickly do the next piece just so that it doesn't dry. So I'm going to stick some glue in here. Just a little bit, and then I'm going to drop in my next 4x2, connect them, and we're going to put that right next to it. Let's just make sure it attracts first. Alright, it does. I'll fix up that piece right here. Alright, so our next two would be this giant middle piece and this inside one. So we're going to do the same process first. We're going to take another 4x2. I'm going to drop it in this big middle piece, and I'm going to make sure I have it attracting this one here. Okay, so it's like that, so we're going to keep that. I'm just going to slide it on the table like that. It might actually, I can't have it flat on the table, so I'm going to have to slide on my finger like that. And keep that top side up if I can. Okay. And I'm going to glue again right here. Just a little. And then this top side is going to go to the left. Just going to slide it in like that. Alright. Put some glue near the bottom, like where the corner is at the bottom of the piece. It's like right there, somewhere in the middle. Drop it in, holding it so the glue is on like the ceiling of the piece, and then we're going to connect the two. It should fall right into place. Alright, so make sure it's attracting to these two pieces. It is. Okay, we're good. Obviously these two pieces, I'm going to save the magnets, so we're not going to have to do those right now. I'm just going to put them off to the side. Just pretend that if you do have the right size magnets, then you will be doing those the same process as those other three, with magnets that are 3 millimeters in length, probably. And I'll make them a little thicker just to make them, like these are 4x2s, so 4x2 is 8, so 3x3 is 9, so it's about the same. Of course, you have a less magnet strength than 35 than N52, but it should kind of equal out a little bit. It should be like about the same. So I'm gonna have to save those for later. After I put back the cube, I'm gonna see how a partially or mostly magnetized cube works. If I like it, I might not have to do it, but I'm probably gonna go back and do it. Okay, so once these are dry, which actually wait a little longer than an hour, but it usually should only take about an hour. We're going to start doing these white ones, so the other half of the edge. And what I'm going to do here is start with the corner just like normal. A little glue on there. And get a 4x1. First, before I put this one in, since it can't, I'm going to make sure it's, you know, facing the right direction, and then I'm going to put it in like so before the glue dries in there, and make sure they go together. I'll push it down a bit. That should be good. We're going to let that dry. Got a little glue on my finger. I'll fix that up before I let it dry. I'm gonna get this one next. And we're gonna do the same thing with, let's see, this edge here. I'm going to first put some glue right at the top here, and then get another 4x1, drop it on the other side like that, and then I'm going to attach the corner like that, so it's going to smack onto the glue. Push a little of that excess glue down. Make sure I don't have any glue on top of that. If I can't really fit my finger in there, but that's good. We're going to do our next two. We're going to get, which piece is it? This piece next. And I'm going to match it with this one. So we're going to put some glue on the left side of it, kind of near the bottom. I'm going to get a 4x2. And I just hold it like this and drop it on the other side. And then I'm going to attach it. And I'm going to just clean up a little bit of the glue that's, you know. I'm going to set it down there. I'm going to do the same thing with the next one. The next piece is this one here. The magnet was on the left side of this one, so we're going to glue the right side wall. A little bit. Get another 4x2. Hold it like this, slide it in like that, and then them over the top of it and attach, hopefully. Oh, it's not really, must be sticking to something. There we go. And I'll clean it up a little bit. It looks to be okay. It's fine. Let's set that down. Make sure they're mostly straight. Okay, so next is these two pieces. So I'm going to get my big center white one. The magnet is going to go on the left side, on the inside of this piece. So we're going to glue, let's see, yes, we're going to glue right about here near the bottom, not quite the bottom, but get that 4x2, hold it like this, like usual, slide it right under the glue, and attach it to the blue one. And we're going to clean up that glue just a little bit, make it go around it. Might not use it right. Set it down over here. And we're going to find this white piece here and attach it to this one. So we need a little bit of glue on the right side here, right at the bottom. Another 4x2. Hold it like this, slide it there, and bring it next to this piece here. And we'll clean it up a little bit. I don't see much to clean up though. Looks like it's good. And we want to let those two sit over there. And these two, again, I don't have magnets small enough to fit in here because I have the wrong size, but when I get, my plan is to get 3x3s. When I get 3x3s, I'm going to insert, I'm going to glue them on the insides of these pieces right here. But that's it for now. We're just going to repeat that process over and over all around the cube, and we'll be back when that dries. Okay, so now that all these 6 pairs are dry, it would be 8 if you had the right size magnet, but I don't. We're going to split them up. I'm going to connect all the right ones here. Let me just cut to that. Okay, now that we've put the 2 blue and whites together, I'm going to use the blue as a template for the orange and the white as a template for these blue pieces. And we'll come back once I have all these 2 half edges glued. Okay, so now that the blue-orange have had time to dry, we're going to, well, I'm deciding I'm going to put the blue-white edges back here and keep the blue-orange here. So we're going to separate all these blue and orange pieces here, and then I'm going to put the blue and white edges back together, and I'm going to have the blue-orange as a template. Okay, so I put my edges all together right here. This thing I'm going to insert first, blue side up. So I should be able to just squeeze that in. Yeah, I screwed up by pushing those white pieces. There we go. And I'll just pick those up. Okay, so I fixed up those white center pieces. Now we're just going to insert these ones. I'm going to start with the outer one first because that one has to snap in, and then these kind of just slide in like that, and these will be easy, just all at once. And I'm going to put back the corner as well. I've already slipped on this white piece, and I'm going to show you go on this side. I think I always do that. Okay. I'm leaving that there because I still need this orange corner piece for the next one. And then we're going to take out these 3 blue yellows because we're going to do these next. I'm going to put them off to the left. Take these 3 out here. Put them to the side again. Slide this one out very carefully. Just do not take out everything else that comes along with it. Centerpieces can go to the side. It's probably best to keep each corner of the center to itself, so it's easier to find the pieces later on when you need them. I'm going to take these out too because I know they're going to slide out. They're going to want to slide out, so. And the reason I didn't take them out all at once, all these 4, was because so I could insert this a little easier than if I had to start, because I have these corners and these middle edge pieces holding this bottom plane up right here. And when it's held up, it's easier to insert. So as long as I have this inserted, I can do the rest of them just fine. So these are going to go to the left. Those are going to be done next. And I also need this corner piece. I'm going to make sure I'm not going to lose that center piece right there. Also have to fish it out of the core. Okay, there we go. Actually, I really didn't need that one. I can actually keep that in there. Because I can use the yellow from this orange corner. So let's put that back actually. Okay, so once I've finished magnetizing the blue-yellow edges, these are the blue, these are the yellow, I'm going to remove everything, and I'm going to put the blue-orange back together, and we're going to put it back in the cube. Once we've done that, we're going to take out these pieces right here, and I'm going to turn this whole thing over. Oops. I'm going to turn this whole thing over to the white side since I already have the white loosened up. It's going to make this one a little easier to get out. I'm just going to take these blue-red ones out, and these will be the last ones before we move away from the blue and onto something else. Okay. Now we just magnetize these blue-red with the blue-yellow. Okay, so I've magnetized the blue-red pieces and I put them back together. And I'm going to leave the yellow and blue as a template for the next one. And so what I'm going to do is, well, I could have done it either way, but yeah, put either back together and then turn it to the white side because I already have it loosened up. I'm going to insert the blue-red middle edge here. Okay. Stick the corner in. You might want to stick the corner in first because it'll give you a, well, it's just a little easier to do because it's got to go underneath it. But since we have space to work with, you know what? That wasn't the right corner to put in there. Okay, I was just confused. I had the red piece on the wrong side, so we're gonna stick this back in. And I made sure that I had already done these blue and red pieces when I put them back on, because I don't want to forget if I've done like a piece of a corner or not, which is why I have this piece still gone. I think that's the yellow piece right over here that I haven't done yet. And also this corner, these 2 pieces I haven't done yet, so I left them on the corner stock just out of the cube. You know, I might want to use this corner as just to hold things in. I'm not sure if I want to take those pieces off or not. Whatever, I'll deal with it later. Okay. Okay, so this is generally what it's going to look like. I feel as if I should put these pieces in again. I don't think that'd be too bad of an idea. Okay, we got it. I think what I want to do is I'm going to put this whole blue side back together, and we'll come back and then we'll start one of the other sides. The first step we're going to do before we put these blue ones back in is we're going to take these yellow ones out, and I'm going to do better than I did last time. I'm going to take the 3x3 pieces. What I mean by that is just like this whole section of 9 center pieces in one quadrant. I'm going to separate them into quadrants, so I'm going to keep them in their own space, just so it's easier to remember what to take from when I'm putting things back. Once we have that done, we're going to flip this back over like this, make sure nothing comes out, and we're going to put these all the rest of the blue pieces back in so it looked like the yellow layer looked. Okay, once we've finished that, you can think of it as we're on the yellow side now, and we've already done the blue-yellow, so we're going to do the yellow-orange, the yellow-green, and the yellow-red. And so first I'm going to start with the yellow-orange, and I want to end up being on the yellow-red. Then we're going to move on to the red side, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to take out these center pieces here, and then I'm going to take out these yellow-blue edges, along with possibly this corner, definitely this corner. Okay, once I finish gluing everything on top of the yellow side, I'm going to reattach. Oh, hold on, I'm going to actually reattach just the blue and yellow. I'm going to put the blue and yellow back. I'm going to put this, all these center pieces, this left half here, I'm going to put them back. I'm going to keep the red and yellow down here as one of the templates. I'm going to take down the blue and red except for the center edge, and I'm also going to take out these this edge and this edge here, which means I'm going to take all the center pieces out. So when we come back, we'll have that done. Okay, so the way we're going to do the next one is I've taken the green red edge out and the red white edge out, so we're on the red face now. I've also taken out the red blue, except I kept the red blue center here, so that the planes in the center get held up by something. It'll be less annoying to put together when I put the edges and center pieces back. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to start off with this red middle piece. I'm going to take the white. Where's the piece? I'm going to start off with this one. I'm going to start off by gluing the magnet to this and having it attached to this, and just dry like that for the rest of the time that I do the rest of these white and the rest of these red. I'm going to be using it for the green, I believe. Anyway, I'll just show you when I get to it. Okay, once we've done all the rest of these, I'm going to take this one right here, and this white one should be dry enough so that we can take it off and it'll stay where it is. And then we're going to glue this magnet on the red one, attach it to that. And that's how you do two at once. You're just going to repeat the process for these, the red and green to the red and blue. Glue there, magnet, slide it in, attach them, look good, set it down. So this one will be fine, as long as it's, it's pretty dry, it's going to stay. It doesn't need anything next to it. So like I said, I got the green, red, and then the red blue I'm going to do also. Alright, after I finished gluing those two edges, you can tell I had some interesting matchups here, especially in the front. I took some corners from that were not the same color, but it really doesn't end up anyway. I mean, it doesn't matter anyway in the end, because as long as you get every piece of the corner magnetized, it's fine. So, same thing could go with the edges, but you kind of lose track of what you were doing. But I have some interesting matchups too with the edges. Like this one has nothing. This one's next to red. I guess it's not that weird. I have these two over here. Either way, I'm gonna put the two edges. Sorry, I'm gonna put three of the edges back together. Probably, I'm gonna move on to. Let's see. I did blue. I did blue. I did yellow, and I did red. So I'm probably gonna move on to white. So I'm gonna keep the white red edge down here, not put together, and I'll take one that I've already done here, that would be the blue white, and I will use those two, of course except for this middle one, and I'll do the green white and the orange white. Okay, so now we're moving on to the white face, and as you can see, I've already taken it apart. I left the blue-white edges. We've already done the blue-white edge. I left these three inner pieces in, and center pieces, sorry, and the middle blue-white edge in there, just so it keeps these three pieces here up in the center. These corners already have magnets in them. You might notice that I have green and yellow instead of blue and white. It doesn't really matter because I just kind of did out of order, so these already have magnets in them. I'm going to use these instead. The orange white and the orange, the orange white and the green white edges I haven't done yet, and I'm going to use the red white and the blue white edges to do two edges at a time. But you'll see that, I don't have the blue white middle edge, but we're going to do the same as we did with the red side. Okay, so just in case I didn't explain it that well on the red face, what I've done here so far is I've done the green whites, and I did it left to right, so I started with the, going left to right on the half edge, so I did like this piece first, the middle piece second, going just all the way to the corner piece. I did the same thing with the green half edge. So what I'm going to do now is, since this white piece has had time to dry in the spot, I'm going to take this off. I'm going to use this red middle half edge, to attach, to hold the magnet for this white half edge of the orange white edge. Right, put that in. Let that dry, and we're going to do that the same thing that I've done with this one, just all the way down. And I'm going to do the same once I get to this white part and the orange piece is here. I'm going to do the same thing with this orange piece. I'm going to connect it with this white middle edge here. And by the way, a cool trick for doing one of these corner pieces here, I've already put the glue in here, is to find out the right way, you just gotta, there's the magnet already in here, just put the magnet like that, and pick it up like this. I have the glue, so I can just insert it, like that, and I hold my thumb over, place it, straighten it out, and that's it. And if you've done it right, it should look something like this, except these 8 here and these 8 here will also be magnetized, so that there'll be 2 pairs on the left of each of these rows here. So there'll be like 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, and 2 here. And you'll probably have a blue here and a white and a blue here instead of a green and yellow. It's just I got a little unorganized in my corners. And after this, we should only have on the orange side, we should only have 1 edge left, and that's the green-orange. So blue I had 4. What'd I go next? White I had 3. Red I had 2. What am I on now? White I had 2, and orange I'm gonna have 1. That makes 12. Okay, so as you can see, I kept the orange-white edge. I put back the orange-yellow edge and the orange-blue, and I took out the orange-green. So that's what the cube looks like, and this is everything. I already glued the magnets in. It's drying right now, and I'm going to show you the springs, so I'm going to compress next. Okay, you can see that they measure at about 8.5, and we're going to put it like just below 8 or at 8. Okay guys, we're in my basement again. If you didn't see the mf9 video, and this is what I did to compress the springs. And this time I'm doing all 6 at once because I was just figuring out how to do this and how long to leave it in there, how tight to put it. Basically you have to just kind of scoot each one in there at about this, maybe I think it was a little looser than this, but so that they're straight, so that when you tighten it like this, I have this tightening it, they're all going to be pretty close to straight. And they might be a little off, but it was much worse before. But that's kind of what they're going to look like. I'm going to tighten it just a little bit more. I think it'll be enough, but we'll see. So, probably come back in 8 or more hours and see what that. So I took each of the 6 springs out of the vise, and each of them measure about the same, which is about 8 millimeters, which is half a millimeter shorter than what they were. So what we're going to do is we're going to put them back the same way we took them out, which is unscrew this, take it out, and put the spring in between 2 washers and put it back in. We're going to do it one at a time, make sure this whole layer doesn't come out while we do it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is unscrew this whole top here, just one of them. Make sure the rest of these around are pretty tight. Okay, I'm going to carefully take this out, and it looks like this time I left the washer inside. Yes, it's inside there. Alright, so what I'm going to do is slip the spring on like that and place it back in. I don't have to worry about the washer because the washer's already in there. And just screw it back on. A little looser than that. A bit looser. That's fine for now. We're going to do that for all 6 sides. Okay, so next we're going to magnetize these 2 pieces. You know, these two, these two, for every one, because I didn't have the right size to magnetize them in the first place. But first, we're going to take the cap off of every center, and we're going to loosen about 2 turns, unless I have to do more. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 2. So it should feel about that loose. We're going to do that for white, red, blue, yellow. I've already done the green. Oh, and by the way, by 2 turns I meant 720 degrees around. So it's actually 8 45-degree turns. And our next step is to we're going to tape these centers together so they don't come out. On every side. Okay. Okay, good. Now we can take out our first two. And we're going to pull them apart like that. Okay, so now that we have our pieces pulled apart, these orange pieces are the ones we have to magnetize still. You can see these ones I have already magnets in them. So I'm going to set those aside, and before I stick the magnets and glue them in, I'm going to take my 3x3, I'm going to take one of them, and I'm going to stick it to the orange part here, just to make sure I have the right direction. So like that, and then I get my glue, clean that off a bit. Alright, make sure I have it facing this way, like that. And we're gonna stick some glue, hold on a second, so they're like this. So basically I want to stick glue on this right side near the bottom, so not quite at the bottom of that edge. It's gonna approximate right about here. Just put a lot in there. Gonna take that off, make sure I hold it on the right side. Okay, so I got glue in there. And I got this here. I want to, first of all, I'm gonna have this in the right direction like that, and I want to hold it in that same direction. I'm gonna track this one over, make sure that's glued to the right side. So just about like that. So I guess really I should have stuck another magnet right here. And before this glue dries, I'm going to stick this one in, of course. That. Okay. So you get them in. I'm going to try and push these as much to the bottom as I can. And I'm going to let those dry for now, and this will be our template for the next one, and then we can do 2 at a time, and then we can do 4 at a time, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to set this right back here, come back for the next 2 edges, which will probably be these ones, the green ones. Okay, so once these are somewhat dry, it's business as usual, I guess you could say. I'm gonna take the green one. It's gonna go like this. I'm gonna stick the glue on the left side, right about here. Okay. And I'm gonna get a 3x1. Going to drop it in, put my thumb over, and we're going to attach these two, and it should look something like that. Then we're going to let these, oops, okay, we're going to let these dry over here. And by the way, I have the other two. Hold on. I have the other two that are already magnetized. I'm just keeping them here and here, just so I can keep track of this green belongs to the orange, and this orange belongs to the green, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to order them up just as how I'm doing them. And of course we're going to do this one as well. So we're going to glue the right side of this teeny little space. For some reason they put you might have to check which direction the magnet goes, so you can do something like that. And then I'm going to place it inside going that direction. And then we'll attach them. Since you can't just drop it in because it's not going to be able to flip around very easily. And then we will let that dry back here. Okay, so I got those two, and those two. So I know that those are the green orange. And we're going to do the green yellow, the green red, the green white, and we're probably going to do the orange yellow, or the orange white, whatever, orange yellow, red white, and then we're going to turn to the other side and do the 4 blue edges as well. And of course, before I do move on to the orange or yellow or white or red, I'm going to put some tape on the center pieces so that they don't, you know, fall over the place, make a mess, make it just hard to do. Really easy job. Okay, I've taken out the green yellow edges here, and I'm going to use these green and orange edges to do these green yellow ones. Now we've taken out the green red and green white edges, and we're going to magnetize these. I have these set aside here. Okay, so I've taken out the red white, orange yellow, and red yellow, and we're going to magnetize these pieces I have laid out with these 16 pieces here. Okay, so I've glued those 4 edges, and now that I have glued them, I'm going to put them back together and put them back along these 4 edges, and we're going to take out the 4 blue edges, and we're going to use the green ones to as a template for the blue ones. Okay, so I've set everything up to be magnetized. These are the 16 pieces that are going to be magnetized. These are the ones I'm going to use, and these are the ones that are not being used right now. They're just for the extra half of the pieces. And once I've finished magnetizing those last 4 edges, it's going to look something like this. And we're going to reattach all these edges and put it back on the cube. And so the final product is going to look something like this. It feels very smooth for the most part. It still does catch a bit sometimes. It doesn't pop as much, but it does catch when it's a little off. I do have to increase my magnet strength, especially on this layer here. Sorry if the light's really bad. I probably could have, well, you can't fit much in this layer. You can only really fit 4x1s, so there's not much I could do with that. But with this layer here, I could definitely add some strength to that. The strength is good here. The thing is, with the middle layer, it is a bit stiffer. I know that a few people like to put less strong magnets in the middle layer, which you could do. But I don't find really a problem with it. My best time with it so far, I think I posted it, was a 655. It really was just a good saw. It didn't really have anything to do with the great performance of this. It still performs good. I think it still needs some breaking in, but I'm capable of getting sub 7s with this, so that's good. If you like the video, feel free to like it, and I hope your magnetization process works for you.